Jai Hanuman. Jai Shri Gurudev, Jai Sitaram. Welcome, welcome. I just want to take a moment and acknowledge, I know there are a number of you who maybe have never been here to Sankat Mochan Hanuman Temple here at Mount Madonna Center. And there's many of you that we know haven't been able to come for many, many months, almost a year now. In some cases, I'm sure it's been at least that long. And we've really missed inviting you and welcoming you here on site. So I want to just take this opportunity this evening before we begin this talk on Mahamrityunjaya Puja and Yajna to just let you have a moment of quiet darshan as we go around the temple site and you visit the various places that you're used to seeing, as well, of course, as Hanumanji. So we'll take a moment for that now. So you can just come with me and we'll go over and see Ganeshji. Thank you. Wonderful to see you. Jai Hanuman. Jai Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Gananam Tva Ganapati Gung Havamahe Priyanam Tva Priyapati Gung Havamahe Nidhinam Tva Nidhipati Gung Havamahe Vasomam Aham Jani Garbadham Atmajasi Garbadham. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. We invoke you with offerings, Lord of the multitudes. We invoke you with offerings, Lord of love. We invoke you with offerings, guardian of the treasure. Sit within us, giving birth to the realm of the gods within us. Yes, giving birth to the realm of the gods within us. Jai Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Jai Shri Sitaramaya Namaha. Jai Shiva Shambho. Jai Jai Jai. Shri Ganga Mai. And a little circumambulation of our sacred waterfall. Jai Shri Hanuman Jai. Jai Jai. Prayer to Nandi. Om. Jai Shri Ram. Please save us, protect us, help us to stay focused on Lord Shiv and the pursuit of liberation. Jai, 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 Mahadevaya Namaha. The beautiful Urali picture of a trishul made from flowers. And again, I want to welcome all of you. Right now, the curtain is closed to the main temple. Hanumanji is getting prepared for Evening Arati. So at this time, the curtain is always drawn as a symbol of respect and privacy. And then when we finish the talk and begin Arati, the curtain will be open. So again, I want to welcome you and thank you for joining us. So this is going to be a conversation, a talk, a little bit of question and answers. I will try to discipline myself to make stops along the way so that if people have questions about something, then we can take a few minutes and address those. So I'll try to break it into segments roughly, and maybe 2 or 3 segments here, and address, first of all, some of the larger concept of the temple environment and the the activities, the principles at work in such a place like this. And we'll spend some time then talking about what are the scriptural contexts of puja and yajna, just touching on some of those ancient scriptural basis for these practices and traditions that we're going to be engaged in, more particularly tomorrow with our Mahamrityunjaya Puja and Yajna to begin the new year. So we'll kind of go through a little process here of discussing about the symbolism in Yajna via the scriptures. What does the scriptures say about it? And puja, and then we'll go into some of the details of the puja, specifically the Mahamrityunjaya Puja and Yajna that we were blessed by Babaji to learn as one of our practices that we do. So just to begin now, I know, as I said, that many of you haven't been here in quite a long time, and some of you perhaps for the first time, but just to briefly say, this beautiful environment here was initiated and started by our Guru Baba Haridas. So this beautiful being who we identified in that wonderful, exquisitely beautiful form that we spent so much time with. And Babaji is still here. There is no departure for a soul like that. He inhabited that beautiful form for a number of years, 95 years, in fact. And we had the blessing of really being enchanted with that identification of Babaji in that way. But that spirit, that essence energy of Babaji is still very present and still very much alive in this environment here that he spent a good bit of time establishing. So for thousands of years, temple environments like this have served as social, cultural centers, as educational centers, and as, of course, special pilgrimage sites for seekers. And the temple environments are constructed and designed in such a way that they become transformational fields of symbols, of sacred tools, and of rituals designed to tell a story and stir and awaken deep memories in us, to give us hints to a deeper meaning and purpose of our lives, clues, you can say, to the processes and possibility of liberation. So the temple serves as a threshold place between two worlds. It's where we come to connect, to leave behind the world, and we come and we connect with this other aspiration, this deeper aspiration that we all are impelled by to come to these places. And this is to connect with this eternal choreography, this eternal dance of spirit and matter, engaged in the cosmic dance of creation, sustenance, and dissolution. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva in other forms, you can say. Spirit manifesting nature, and nature surrendering itself to spirit. So it's a place we come to connect with these beautiful principles and ideals and purposes. So tirtha is a Sanskrit term that's used to denote these kinds of special sites where one can engage in that aspiration to cross over. In a mundane sense, it can literally be a place to cross over a river or a body of water. Traditionally, in a spiritual sense, it's referring to the great crossing over to liberation. And often a saint is associated with the tirtha, to one of these sacred crossings over to the far shore of spiritual awakening. And they act as this guide to help take us across that body of water, that ocean of transmigration to liberation. Most tirthas, places like this, maintain a sanctity for centuries. And the boatmen, the custodian, the caretakers of such places keep changing. The river keeps flowing, seekers keep coming. The duty remains. The caretakers know that they don't own the river. They don't own that flow of spiritual energy, that consciousness. Their duty is to serve the seekers who come and will always come and need assistance to cross over. And Mount Madonna Center and Sankat Mochan Hanuman Temple are blessed to be custodians of sacred teachings and our sacred site. And it's our duty to serve the seekers, those of you who come to participate and experience this darshan, this living momentum of the temple and the home of Lord Hanuman. So it's a natural cycle, our Guru said, Babaji. Just do your duty, serve the seekers, serve the temple. Everything will work out. Just keep it simple like that. So that's our aspiration, many of us, to look after this and to do in that way. So the Guru, the Dharma, or the teachings, and the seekers are all inextricably wound and bound together. So we welcome all. So one day we had this interesting experience when we were building the temple, and Babaji came by and he checked in on the work. A couple of us were in this inside of the temple and working around the doorway there, and it was in a very rough form. And so it was just brick and concrete and so forth. And he came and he peered in the door and he looked around and he looked up into the vault of the roof on the inside there. And he wrote on his board, "A woman giving birth." And in the roof is a Sri Yantra. And it was just a rough form of a three-dimensional Sri Yantra up there. Symbol of the Goddess Mother, the Supreme Goddess, the Supreme Shakti. And when we turned to ask him what did he mean, woman giving birth, he was gone. Now, later on we learned from him that that Sri Yantra is a symbol of the Divine Mother. And the temple is this environment that is housing and expressing the energy of the Divine Mother, Spirit in that form, manifesting the deity. So there, Hiranyagarbha, in that inner womb chamber of the temple, is Lord Hanuman. So in that eternal process is what the temple is representing of Spirit manifesting the divine in various forms, and more particularly here, of course, Lord Hanuman. So very beautiful process and teachings that we've been able to engage in with this. The beautiful thing about the temple environments and the aspiration that we have is that we all have a memory of deep peace and union with the divine presence. So we're always driven to reunite with that presence, like a moth seeks out the flame, always seeking to merge with that presence, battering itself against all obstacles in the conscious or unconscious effort to be relieved and to be reunited with that light principle. So we similarly do this, and we are consciously or unconsciously driven to be relieved of suffering and troubles and to abide in peace again. Our life is a pilgrimage, and our map is all around us. But most importantly, it is inside of us. So I want to speak now to yajna. And yajna is a Sanskrit word which is in many simple ways translated as sacrifice. And it derives from the root word yaj, which means to worship. And to our early spiritual ancestors, yajna was seen as a very profound process which is at the heart of creation itself. Raymond Panakar, who's a contemporary theologian who authored a beautiful anthology of the Vedas called The Vedic Experience, writes that if one had to choose a single word to express the quintessence of the Vedic revelation, that word would be yajna, sacrifice. This would perhaps be the most adequate. When looking at the teachings about yajna from our early ancestors, we see a beautiful, grand, very reverential presentation of what yajna is. In the early Vedic hymns, yajna is put forth as an expedient invented by the gods for bringing forth all things and beings in the creation, and adopted by human beings for securing their wealth and welfare. In the Rig Veda, it said that the gods who were first created performed a sacrifice, and through their will and contemplation, they offered the person of the Creator as an oblation, and thus performed the first of the sacrifices. And out of this primordial sacrifice, the first principles of life were formed. Many of the early scriptures describe the birth of this manifest creation as a process of the Creator God sacrificing so that life may arise, sacrificing their own being so that life may arise. In the Atharva Veda, yajna is called the chariot of the gods, a vehicle for facilitating the function of spirit in this world. The yajna that brought forth this creation is said to continue for all time and remains as a source for all things in the universe. The entire earth is the sacrificial platform, and the four directions are the surrounding rampart. The whole of the earth is a sacrificial platform for yajna to take place. The Yajurveda says that the yajna which human beings are required to perform is the reenactment of the cosmic drama of creation and regeneration by self-sacrifice, dismemberment of one's own constitution. It's a method of worshiping the gods and in itself is considered a god. In the Bhagavad Gita, there are many verses which describe the vast and myriad ways that yajna takes place in our lives, whether consciously or unconsciously. A little bit I'll read from some verses. The natural law, according to the Gita, is that creation begins, sustains, and dissolves as a process of self-dedicated action, which is yajna. Babaji wrote about it beautifully in his Bhagavad Gita commentary. I'll read from verse 9 in chapter 3. The world is bound by action, except when action is performed for the sake of sacrifice. Therefore, Krishna is saying to Arjuna, perform your duty free from attachment for the sake of sacrifice. And Babaji explained in his commentary that actions performed without self-interest and for the good of all are called sacrifice or yajna. Action that is performed without self-interest, without attachment to the action or its fruit, and as a duty for the good of all, will not cause any bondage, will not cause karmas that are negative. In performing such action, desire, attachment, and ego will not create any samskara. As a result, the mind will be purified, and that action will eventually bring liberation to the individual. And in verse 10, Babaji in the commentary says, the Creator, Prajapati, having in the beginning created humankind together with sacrifice, said, you shall prosper by this. Let this be the milk cow of your desires. So the milk cow of your desires is the yajna. And Babaji writes in his commentary to this verse, the spirit of self-dedicated activity or yajna is not new. It existed before creation in the form of a seed preparing to germinate. As the creation evolves, progressing to different levels, at each level, there is self-dedicated service for the sake of the harmonious growth. In the macrocosm, the cosmic energies, the gunas, the elements, the bhutas, etc., are performing self-dedicated activity. And in the microcosm, the society, the friends, the parents, etc., the seed, the soil, the water, the rivers, the air, the oceans, our own body organs are all working together to maintain health. Thus, all these are engaged in a self-dedicated service. when things are operating in an optimum, healthful way, proper way. So the Gita is saying that all of the elements of the creation are giving their energies to the service of the whole. The sun, in giving heat and light, is providing the potential for life as we know it. And in this process, it is of its giving, it is also consuming itself. It is dying. And it is like that with everything in nature, including us. There is forever a cycle going on in our lives: birth, growth, decay, and death. And in the Vedic perception, consciously or unconsciously, we are part of a great cosmic yajna just by being alive. It's not a matter of if you are interested in participating in yajna. You are in a yajna. Your life is a yajna. So that fire you might be smelling, that is perhaps your own yajna. The ancient sages clearly saw that creation and existence is a perpetual rite of sacrifice, and they developed rituals as a means to symbolically participate and communicate with the natural cosmic order. The yajna ritual gives us a context to transcend our limited notion of self and be aware of our own higher awareness, our own higher natures, to engage in the sacred work which will bring us into alignment with our own higher nature. This teaching is also elaborated in Babaji's Gita commentary. Brahma created humankind with a spirit of self-dedicated service. Being the superior incarnation among all other creatures, human beings are qualified to perform self-dedicated activity or yajna according to their allotted duties in the world. And by doing so, they allow humanity to prosper, to continue to prosper and attain higher stages of consciousness. Thus, the fundamental purpose and desires that are inherent to a human incarnation are fulfilled by virtue of yajna. The term yajna comes from the verb yaj, meaning to worship, union, and service. Also, it means action that purifies, which is the same as dharam, or virtuous duty. So self-dedicated service continually purifies the mind. And as is explained by Krishna in the Gita, all beings in creation, the humans are the highest because of our superior minds and our ability to discriminate. It is therefore the duty of humans to look out for the welfare of all other orders of life. By doing our natural duty of protecting, maintaining, and nourishing the creation, we purify the mind. And in contrast, Krishna says that a person who enjoys all the fruits offered by the natural forces without paying anything back in the way of self-dedicated work performed in a spirit of sacrifice, then that person is stealing. This is a wonderfully pragmatic teaching in these verses. It's saying that if we perform our natural duties in life, to our families, to our society, and to do those things without self-interest and without a desire for personal gain, then we are purifying the mind. To understand our nature-born gifts and qualities and learn to use them in the service of the creation is a way that all of our everyday activities become a form of yajna. Yajna is not something that requires coming together with all kinds of special ornaments and making a yantra and making a fire and so forth. Yajna is available every moment of every day when, as you breathe in, you inhale pranic energy and you take a moment and be grateful for that life force that's within you. And you express that breath and know, and you can use that in service of the outer. Inspiration, expiration, moment to moment can be a way of staying connected to that idea of yajna, of sacrifice. So in reality, yajna is a dynamic process of sacrifice occurring at every level of our life, whether we're conscious of it or not. And as such, it can serve as a very pragmatic, accessible path to purify and enlighten the mind. In reality, yajna, or sacrifice, is the natural expression of enlightened mind. Now, when we hear some of these grand spiritual ideas, we probably can't help but wonder if something from so long ago, the scriptures from so long ago, can still have relevance to you and I at this time and stage of life. Can scriptures that are purported to be thousands of years old still provide guidance and inspiration, teachings for our modern times? These Vedic hymns and scriptures speak to us in poetry and in symbol and in cadence that tell the story of our origins. They tell a story meant to stir our deep memories of who we are beyond our small personal stories. They tell a story of our divine heritage, our duty if we choose to live a full life. As a human species, we're a composite of experiences that have roots that extend to the beginning of time. And as individuals, we all have a personal past history that informs us, and we also have the shared history of the human race that is stored in our DNA and in the subtle recesses of our minds, and more importantly, in our hearts, in our deepest embedded memory from lifetimes. The poetry and symbols of these ancient Vedic hymns can work on us in ways that frees the mind from its incessant need to conceptualize, limit, interpret our experience and knowledge in easily digested thought forms. The poetry and the symbols of these Vedic hymns and scriptures and rituals can awaken us to profound and deep mysteries of our existence. The Vedic hymns, they're not codified teachings, fixed codified teachings from ancient times. They are living revelations of ancient seers and saints, revealed truths telling us we have a rich spiritual heritage in our human race, and inviting us to step into the fullness of being and participate in the great yajna that is life. Ritam Satyam Paramam Param. The truth, Ritam, is the highest of all truths. So let's take a little bit of time if there's any questions, and I'll go into more of specifics about the upcoming ceremony. So if there's any... No questions, everything's wonderful. Let's keep rolling. We don't want to be too late for Arati, though we'll be fine if it's a little bit after 6 when we start. So, related to the principle of yajna is Rita, which is a Sanskrit term found in the Rig Veda. And Rita refers to the cosmic order, or the underlying principle of harmony and order that governs the manifest creation. It is an all-pervasive concept of cosmic order based on the interconnectedness of all things. It's a cosmocentric view of life as opposed to an egocentric view. The work of life, the highest duty in life, according to the scriptures, is to develop awareness of the cosmic principles from which all life emerges and align ourselves with them. The foundation or content of Ritam is Satya, or truth. The natural cycles or rhythms of the cosmos are rooted in truth. And if we align our lives with the natural law, then we will lead a life which is rooted in truth. And the natural law is that creation begins, sustains, and dissolves as a process of self-dedicated action. It's like that with everything in nature, including ourselves. There is forever a cycle going on in our lives: birth, growth, decay, and death. And it's for this reason that in the Vedic perception, consciously or unconsciously, we are part of a great cosmic yajna just by being alive. The formal yajna ritual, as we are engaging in tomorrow, is a means for us to symbolically participate in that natural cosmic order. It gives us a context to transcend our limited notion of self and engage in this sacred duty, leading to awareness of our own higher nature. So the wind has been rather tricky all day, but it's a little bit quieter perhaps now. So we're going to remove the cover over the Vedi where the yantra is that we'll use for the fire ceremony, and hopefully we'll be able to see it a little bit as part of the conversation. Lighting is a little bit dim now, but we'll see how that works. So in a moment we'll do that. So the first part of the yajna ceremony that we do is called a puja, or worship, and it involves repetition of mantras for purifying all the subtle and gross elements of the body. And the mantras that we chant awaken subtle divine energies within. All sound is a movement of energy, and the pure sounds of the Vedic mantras are chanted to set up a wave of energy in the subtle body that awakens different levels of consciousness, different awareness in us. The quality or nature of the sounds purify the mind and awaken pure thoughts and knowledge. And in this way, by the various mantras, we are awakening to our divine form. Some will be accompanied by a hand mudra placed on various energy centers. The hand mudras, like tattva mudra, the two middle fingers of the right hand joined to the thumb, are used to join different subtle energies in the body, and with the intonation of a mantra and holding on different energy centers, we thereby awaken this subtle presence in those centers. And it's said we divinize the whole body and mind-body complex when we do that process. It's a very systematic process we go through using niyas, which means this placing. And the mudra means to please. So it's a way of saying that these particular mudras we use are pleasing to the subtle energies in the body, and they bring them forth in a more potent, strong way. So we transform our consciousness through all of these processes of mantra, mudra, pranayam. We do some breathing exercise and meditation in the first half of the yajna ceremony in the puja. And we make offerings, flowers, incense, light, water, fruits and herbs, all such things that represent our mind, body, senses, our entire being. These pure, transformed aspects of ourselves we now offer to God, so that it is only the will of God that works through us. So as we go through the puja, we offer them, and this is what was meant by that idea that of dismembering of oneself, that the gods initially dismembered themselves so that all life could evolve. What this is saying is that we go through this process in ourselves in the puja, and we do this intonation of mantra, and we identify these locations and energy centers, and then we offer them symbolically through flowers representing all love and devotion, through incense, our sense of smell, through deepa, fire representing the light that gives the ability to see, the light of truth, and food offerings that represent the pranic energy of the body. All these various things we go through in the first part of the ceremony as a way of identifying that I am not these things. These are energies that abide in this body that can be used to serve the higher consciousness, the divine principle. So as we go through tomorrow, we'll also be able to highlight some of that. Now, I would like to remove the cover on the yantra now, and then we'll see if the light is enough that we can see it. And there'll be some other pictures that might come on your screen there that can also give you this visual. So this is Mahamrityunjaya Yantram, the armor yantra for protection against the great death, is how this is translated. Maha, the great, Mrityung, death, Jaya, victory. Kavach is armor yantra, armor, protection. And yantra is what the diagram is called. Yantra is an instrument, and historically it could be an instrument of any nature, an astronomical instrument or a different kind of a tool that you might use for something. So in this specific form, this yantra is an instrument that describes evolution and involution. So this is showing the evolution of the whole cosmos, the macrocosm, and the individual. This is a representation and you can say at one level, this is the god Shiv. Mahamrityunjaya is a form of Shiv specifically, that form of Shiv that liberates from all affliction and suffering, death, protecting one. So this is also a representation of us as an individual jiva also. This same energy is within us, and we are estranged from it due to our veiling, the veiling principle that I'll describe in a moment. So our mind-body complex is what we think we are, but the yantra is saying, here's what you really are. Here's what you started as. Here's your essential nature. Here's what evolved from your true essence. And then this is the realm that you give such faith to, which is the outer gross form that the senses, which are very imperfect instruments, as I think we all know, but we put great faith in them to tell us the story of what's real and unreal. But this is all saying there's something underneath of all of that that you need to really become aware of in order to alleviate yourself from all the suffering that life can bring to you. And the suffering that we cause to others because of our ignorance and our adherence to what is our ego and our own need for acknowledgement, for recognition, and so forth. Ownership, the notion. The ego, Babaji said, is just a notion of something that you have, that's yours. It's not a reality. So now we'll go through this this process of what the yantra is. Let me check our time here, okay? And we'll step through it in a sequence that also will show you how it's describing from the pure energies in the middle, the first causal energies, as you would say, through the subtle and into the gross evolution. So to begin with, there is a bindu. And in this representation here, the bindu is a singular point there right in the middle. And it's sometimes described as a point that is so infinitesimally small, it can't be seen. It is like a tiny, tiny atom, atomic energy. So, and it's something that is so vast that it can't be circumscribed, so it's spoken of in those kind of paradoxical ideas of what the bindu is. So bindu means seed, and in this case it's a seed of consciousness and a seed of a whole creation, a whole manifestation, or of an individual. And the bindu is said to have really a dual energy about it initially, which is consciousness and the will to express that power of consciousness, the active, expressive part. So in tantric language, they would say that it's Gyan Shakti, the energy of consciousness, and Gyan Shakti and Kriya Shakti is the matter principle, and Icha Shakti is the will principle. So first is just consciousness, and Icha Shakti as the energy of will, that power to manifest itself, express itself in an engaged form. So those two energies have an inherent potential for manifestation. Just like any seed, when the condition is ripe, when the karma is ripe, it will expand, it will grow. So in this case, it creates a third energy that emerges from those dual energies of consciousness and the will to express that consciousness. Also, those two initial primary energies, sometimes they're called Shiv and the goddess mother Shakti. So consciousness and the active expression of that consciousness is the Shakti, Divine Mother form. So the matter principle is called Kriya Shakti. So those three form that blue triangle, which is the base triangle there. So the bindu first gives rise to that blue triangle, and that's those three energies of consciousness, will, and matter. And this is in a form that is not dynamic at all. This is in a potential form, so it's not expressive. So just as the sky is blue, it's this vast vault of blue, this is shown in blue also to show that really it is formless, it is beyond any form really. So this is the substrate that will give rise to any possibility. So one of the first things, there is said to be this inherent tension within it that gives rise to its expressive form, which is again the Shakti principle, and that's the red triangle that's superimposed over it. And that's that Divine Mother principle, you can say, and that downward pointing red triangle. That downward pointing red triangle is the yoni shape. Sometimes in some scriptures it's described as the descent of grace. First, there is this vast energy of consciousness that is inactive, that's potential, that blue triangle. And then there's this descent of grace, the Divine Mother principle. And then once you have these two merged together, then manifestation happens. So this is a causal level, a samskaric level. It's a potential for now all creation to emerge. And you see it suspended in a yellow color circle. So that yellow is one way of kind of giving form, a limited form to those energies. And then it's circumscribed or circled with a red circle. And that circle is very, very important. That is Maya. Maya means it is and it isn't. So Maya is what makes us trust, you could say, the senses and our experience of the senses as giving us a true story of what's real. It is what veils the purity in this sense. So that causal energy, that pure energy of consciousness and its expressive form go through this veiling of Maya. And what that does is that puts a limit to the consciousness as it goes out in these different forms. So all possibilities emerge from that veiling principle of Maya, so that as the energy, Gyan, Ichcha, Kriya Shakti, or you can say also the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, they're all this ways of describing those three energies, these causal energies that give rise to everything. So as they go through that veiling of Maya, all different mixtures emerge, and that gives rise to all kinds of subtle potentials, all kinds of subtle forms. So the next, outside of that red ring of Maya, is a yellow subscribed circle. So it's a field of white and then a yellow subscribed circle there. So this is a separation, a boundary between that which is causal and that which is subtle. So what you see outside of that is this 8 red triangles, 2 on each side. And they're coming out from this, and these represent the subtle level of creation. So this is the 8 different principles or energies here, eightfold nature as it's sometimes called, Ashtada Prakriti. So this is the 3 energies of mind, manas, the mind that records, takes in energy, manas, ahamkar, the ego sense, and buddhi, the discriminative intellect. So these 3 energies of mind and 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, are what are these 8 basic constituent elements of that subtle. And it's said that these 8 energies intermix in different ways to create all possibilities. Anything that can potentially exist, emerge, are due to that. And that's scary. It's saying something about the mind and how it can create any reality for good or for bad. So, and we won't go there right now. But one thing that to note in this is that those 8 energies are in a field of blue. And the field of blue is time. So this is saying that now the subtle body is under the influence of time. It's going out into time. And that will cause it to have mortality, will have a limited life and so forth. but it'll continue in just forever and ever, as these subtle forms will always be emerging out of that causal, but they'll have their own limit. So they will come and go, come and die, arise, and so forth. So this is what is indicated here in this causal or subtle level. Now you see another square around that form, and again you see that there are triangles going outward from there. So there are red, yellow, and green triangle on each side, 4 sides, representing as those energies go out. And here you have what's called a Shakti is the red triangle, and the yellow is considered to be the Gyan, or the Sattva principle, and the green is said to be the Tamas principle, or the matter principle, Kriya Shakti. So the Icha Shakti, the red, the Gyan Shakti, the yellow, and the Gyan Shakti, Icha Shakti, and Kriya Shakti, the green. So that's the matter principle. And they're again in this field of blue. So they're under the influence of time and mortality. So as they go outward, they're bound by that limitation of time. At the outermost limits of the creation, then there's 3 lines drawn once again, and you see a yellow line, a white line, and a red line. So they're saying that the whole of creation and manifestation are again bound by those 3 energies of the Icha Shakti, that red, that Gyan Shakti, that white, and that Kriya Shakti, that yellow. So it's all Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, another way to say it. No matter how far out the limits of creation, it's all those 3 energies that are at work. So what this is also indicating now, a subtle teaching in this, is that the arm, and why it's called the armor yantra for protection against the great death, is that those outer pointing triangles, staying within them, within that field, not the subtle and the gross, but in that inner realm there, that causal realm, that's the realm of real enlightenment or awakening. So that's the realm that is the self. That's the realm that is eternal. So if we define ourselves by that which is temporary, ephemeral, the mind-body complex and so forth, it's under that realm of time, then we will be subject to all the vicissitudes of life and the suffering and so forth that is there. So the yantra is saying to identify and understand what is your inherent true nature, your essential nature, which is the self, which is pure consciousness. Easier said than done. Yet, what we do is we practice, we practice, we practice. So we have the beautiful opportunity to use this yantra, and let me check our time here. A couple of more minutes I think we have. We will do, and Babaji gave us this beautiful puja to do with this yantra, Mahamrityunjaya Puja and Yajna put together. And I mentioned Niyas is one of the tools that we use in puja and worship. And in Niyas we're placing the mantra with hand mudra throughout the whole body in different places. There's a beautiful way in this one that the Mahamrityunjaya mantra, which is the soul of the yantra. So the yantra is the body, the form of Mahamrityunjaya, and the soul, the essential energy, is in the mantra, is in the vibration of the mantra. So these are linked together in this powerful way. So in taking the process through what happens in the puja is that we use the niyas, the placing energy, and we use it to go through and place parts of the mantra, parts of the whole Mahamrityunjaya mantra throughout all these different energy centers of the body, thereby placing, and as I said, the mantra is the soul of Shiv. It's the essence energy of Lord Shiv. So in doing it as part of this puja, we're awakening that subtle divine energy of Lord Shiv throughout the whole body-mind complex. And it's a pretty complicated process. A number of times the nyas is done going through and taking different little parts of the mantra and placing them, repeating it, going through. Then we close the puja part with the Mahamrityunjaya Stotram. So it's a longer prayer, and it's the way we're saying that may the gods protect us and allow us to wear this armor protection of Mahamrityunjaya, meaning that we won't lose connection with our real divine essence, our true nature, there, the awareness, the higher awareness that is there in us, that which is immortal. So following the puja, we'll make the fire on the Vedi, and we'll offer seed mixture representing all our potential actions, as we always do, 108 offerings of seed mixture. And these are representing all the potential karmas and actions that we might have to do in our life. Whatever it is, we're surrendering them all that we may use all our energy in service of the divine. So this is, in many respects then, this is this point of transformation here on the temple site. This is this place where nature surrenders to spirit, and spirit surrenders to nature, fosters nature. So we put our whole heart and soul and we surrender it here, that we can then watch this offering rise up. And it's said that the smoke from the fire of the yajna and the seed mixture and the mantras and so forth rise up, and in that fragrance of the smoke and the energy of the mantra, that feeds the gods, and the gods then sustain us. So they give that energy back to us and to the earth. So it's a way of really restoring our connection to all life forms. And God knows, with the way the virus and pandemic are occurring, and the levels of pandemic that are occurring, the levels of suffering throughout the world, not just the COVID, but the suffering of food deprivation, the suffering caused by violence, by greed and anger and hatred, racial injustice, so many ways that we've lost touch with this energy in us that makes us identify me and my needs as more important than you and your needs and so forth. This is about coming together and understanding that there is one heart, there is one divine energy, and it's what is in all of us. And we want to try to foster that awareness in ourselves and acknowledge it in others. We can't cause harm to others if we recognize and acknowledge that. So, but it takes a lot of work. It can be lifetimes of work. But what else is there to do? So I don't have anything better to do. So anyway, now I think we're probably at the time, just about the time there. If there's any important questions, I'm happy to try to address them, and if I have any little brief nuggets of wisdom. And otherwise, we're going to go right into the evening Arati. Okay, everybody is well fed. So we're going to cover the yantra again, and then we'll go into the Arati, evening Arati, Ganeshji and Hanumanji Arati, and they will be done at the same time this evening. And after the Arati, the closing songs and so forth. And then, as I think you all know, you're welcome to join tomorrow for the Puja and Yajna that will begin at 7:30 in the morning. And it's a little bit long, but just have a nice cup of tea with you if you're watching virtually, and be ready to go on a journey, an inner journey, a beautiful pilgrimage into the heart. So thank you again for coming, those of you who could make it. Jai Sitaram, Jai Hanuman. Beautiful Hanumanji is in his new ornamentation from the full moon ceremony the other day. Fresh sindoor, fresh clothing. So enjoy the evening Arati now. Thank you again. Om. Praise God.
ॐ दीपं समर्पयामि श्रीगणेशाय नमः। ॐ धूपं समर्पयामि श्रीगणेशाय नमः। जय जय जय। ॐ गन्धं समर्पयामि श्रीगणेशाय नमः। ॐ सुमुखश्चैकदन्तश्च कपिलो गजकर्णकः लम्बोदरश्च विकतो विघ्ननाशो विनायकः धूम्रकेतुर्घनादक्षो बालचन्द्रो गजाननः द्वादशैतानि नामानि व्यहपते शिनुयादपि विद्यारम्भे विवाहे च प्रवेशे निर्गमे तथा सङ्ग्रामे सङ्कटे चैव विघ्नस्तस्य न जायते विघ्नवल्लिकुटाराय श्रीगणाधिपतये नमः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ अविघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तयेत् लाभस्तेषां जयस्तेषां कुटस्तेषां पराजयः येषाम् इन्दिवरश्चमो हृदयस्थो जनार्दनः। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः ॐ पुष्पं समर्पयामि श्रीगणेशाय नमः ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे निधीनां त्वा निधिपतिगुं हवामहे प्रियाणां त्वा प्रियपतिगुं हवामहे वासो ममाहं जामे गर्भदम् आत्मजासि गर्भदम् ॐ जलं समर्पयामि श्रीगणेशाय नमः ॐ नैवेद्यं समर्पयामि श्रीगणेशाय नमः ॐ प्राणय स्वापानय सव्यानय सदार्य समानय स्वाहा श्री गणेशाय नमः जय श्री गणेश Lord. Jai Gurudev. Jai Gurudev. Jai Shri Ganesha. Lord. Mangala Lord. Jai Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Jhaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Jhaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Ekadanta Dayavanta Chara Bhujadhari. Mastaka Sindhura Sohe Mose Ki Savari. एकदंत दयावंत चार भुजधारी मस्तक सिंदूर सोहे मूसे की सवारी पान चढ़े फूल चढ़े और चढ़े मेवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेव जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देव माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेव अंधन को अंक देत को दिन को काय बंधन को पुत्र देत निर्धन को माया अंधन को अंक देत को दिन को काय बंधन को पुत्र देत निर्धन को माया ललो हंग भोजन के संग करे सेवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेव जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देव माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेव दीनन की लाजर को शंभु सुधवारी कामन को पूर करो जौन बलिहारी दीनन की लाजर को शंभु सुधवारी कामन को पूर करो जौन बलिहारी पान चले पून चले और चले मेवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेव जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देव माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेव जय जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीय मामृतात् कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि श्री गणेशाय नमः
जय 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 बजरंग बली की जय हो। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय हो। जय 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 बजरंग बली, जय बाबा जी की जय हो। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम सुमुखस्य एकदन्तश्च कपिलो गजकर्णकः लम्बोदरश्च विकतो विघ्ननाशो विनायकः धूम्रकेतुर्गणाध्यक्ष भालचन्द्र गजाननः द्वादशैतानि नामानि यः पठेश्च शृणुयादपि विद्यारम्भे विवाहे च प्रवेशे निर्गमे तथा संग्रामे संकटे च विघ्नस्तस्य न जायते। विघ्नवल्लीकुठाराय श्रीगणाधिपतये नमः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ अविघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। शुक्लां वरदरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्याये सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। लाभस्तेषां जयस्तेषां कुतस्तेषां पराजयः येषामिन्दिवरश्यामहृदयस्थो जनार्दनः। ॐ गन्धं समर्पयामि श्रीहनुमते नमः। नमस्ते नमस्ते महावायुसूनो नमस्ते नमस्ते भविष्यद्विधात नमस्ते नमस्ते सदाभीष्टदातर नमस्ते नमस्ते अनिशं राम भक्त। ओम श्री हनुमते नमः। ओम धूपं समर्पयामि श्री हनुमते नमः। अतुलितबलधामं हेमशैलाभदेहं दनुजवनकृशानुं ज्ञानिनामग्रगण्यं सकलगुणनिधानं वानराणां धीशं रघुपतिप्रियभक्तं वातजातं नमामि। ॐ श्री हनुमते नमः। ॐ दीपं समर्पयामि श्री हनुमते नमः।
मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयुथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। उल्लङ्घ्य सिन्धो सलीलं सलीलं यः शोकवैनं जनकात्मजायाः आदाय तनैव ददाह लङ्का नमामि तं प्राञ्जलिराञ्जनेयम्। ॐ श्री हनुमते नमः। ॐ आञ्जनेयाय विद्महे महाबलाय धीमहि तन्नो हनुमान् प्रचोदयात्। ॐ श्री हनुमते नमः। ॐ आञ्जनेयाय विद्महे महाबलाय धीमहि तन्नो हनुमान् प्रचोदयात्। ॐ श्री हनुमते नमः। ॐ श्री रामदूताय विद्महे कपीराजाय धीमहि तन्नो वीरः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ श्री हनुमते नमः। ॐ आञ्जनेयाय विद्महे महाबलाय धीमहि तन्नो हनुमान् प्रचोदयात्। ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ गणपतये नमः। ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे प्रियाणां त्वा प्रियपतिगुं हवामहे निधीनां त्वा निधिपतिगुं हवामहे वස්සो ममाहं जानि गर्भधम् आत्वमजासि गर्भधम्। ॐ श्री गुरुवे नमः। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुर्गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। ॐ श्री सीतारामाय नमः। ॐ श्री सीतारामाय नमः। ॐ श्री सीतारामाय नमः। ॐ रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताय पतये नमः। ॐ रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताय पतये नमः। ॐ रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताय पतये नमः। ॐ श्री हनुमते नमः। ॐ आञ्जनेयाय विद्महे महाबलाय धीमहि तन्नो हनुमान् प्रचोदयात्। ॐ श्री हनुमते नमः। जय 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 बजरंगबली की जय। जय 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 कृष्ण भगवान की जय। जय 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 जय। जय 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 कृष्ण भगवान की जय। जय 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 कृष्ण भगवान की जय। ॐ नमः शंभवाय च मयो भवाय च नमः शंकराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च। ॐ नमः शंभवाय च मयो भवाय च नमः शंकराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च। ॐ श्री महादेवाय नमः। ॐ श्री महादेवाय नमः। जय 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 शिव शंभो की जय हो। जय 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 दुर्गा माता की जय। जय लक्ष्मी माता। जय 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 बाबा जी की जय हो। ओम पुष्पं समर्पयामि श्री हनुमते नमः। ओम पवनतनय संकटहरण मंगलमूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुरभूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय। रमापति रामचंद्र की जय। सब संतों की जय, सब भक्तों की जय, सब गुरुदेवों की जय। जय 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 सीताराम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम गं गणपतये नमः। ओम पुष्पं समर्पयामि श्री गुरुवे नमः। नमामि शमीशान निर्वाणरूपं विभुं व्यापकं ब्रह्मदेवस्वरूपं निजं निर्गुणं निर्विकल्पं निरीहं चिदाकाशमाकाशवासं भजेऽहम्। ओम पुष्पं समर्पयामि श्री सीतारामाय नमः। ओम शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिभिर्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णु भवभयहरं सर्वलौकिकनाथं। ओम श्री सीतारामाय नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम नैवेद्यं समर्पयामि श्री हनुमते नमः। ओम प्राणाय स्वाहा पानाय स्वाहा व्यानाय स्वाहा उदानाय स्वाहा समानाय स्वाहा। ओम श्री हनुमते नमः। ओम जलं समर्पयामि श्री हनुमते नमः। ओम श्री हनुमते नमः। भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवा भद्रं पश्येमक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैर्सतुष्टवां सस्तनूभिर्व्यसेम देवहितं यदायुः। ॐ स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्य अरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम श्री हनुमते नमः। ओम श्री हनुमते नमः। जय 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 जय।
आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ कला की। आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ कला की। आरती की जय हनुमान लला की। जाके बल से गिरिवर कांपे, जाके बल से गिरिवर कांपे, रोग दोष जाके निकटन जाके, रोग दोष जाके निकटन जाके। अंजनी पुत्र महाबल गाई, संतन के प्रभु सदा सहाई। आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ कला की। आरती की जय हनुमान लला की। हे वीरा रघुनाथ बटाए, हे वीरा रघुनाथ बटाए। लंका जारी सिया सुधि लाए, लंका जारी सिया सुधि लाए। लंका सकोट समुद्र सिकाई, जात पवन सुत पारन लाई। आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ कला की। आरती की जय हनुमान लला की। लंका जारी असुर सब मारे, लंका जारी असुर सब मारे। सीताराम जी के काज संवारे, सीताराम जी के काज संवारे। लक्ष्मण मूर्ति परे धरनी में, आन संजीवन प्राण उबारे। आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ कला की। आरती की जय हनुमान लला की। पैती पताल तोरी अमकातर, पैती पताल तोरी अमकातर। अहि रावण के पूजा उकारे, अहि रावण के पूजा उकारे। भाई पूजा असुर संहारे, दाई पूजा सब संत उबारे। आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ कला की। आरती की जय हनुमान लला की। सुर नर मुनि जन आरती उतारे, सुर नर मुनि जन आरती उतारे। जय 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 हनुमान जी उचारे, जय 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 हनुमान जी उचारे। कंचन तारक पूर की बाती, आरती करता अंजनी माई। आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ कला की। आरती की जय हनुमान लला की। जो हनुमान जी की आरती गावे, जो हनुमान जी की आरती गावे। बसी वैकुंठ अमर पद पावे, बसी वैकुंठ अमर पद पावे। जो हनुमान जी की आरती गावे, जो हनुमान जी की आरती गावे। बसी वैकुंठ अमर पद पावे, बसी वैकुंठ अमर पद पावे। आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ कला की, आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ कला की, आरती की जय हनुमान लला की।
बलि की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। जय 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 सीताराम। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम्, उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हनुमताय नमः। ओम श्री सीतारामाय नमः। जय लक्ष्मी माता, जय दुर्गा माता, जय 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 गणपति भगवान की जय। श्री माता। ओम श्री हनुमताय नमः। जय 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 शिव शंभो, जय बाबा जी। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। जय श्री माता। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम्, उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ओम शांति शांति शांति। जय 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 शिव शंभो, जय श्री माता। जानम न जानामि न जानामि, विसर्जनं पूजां च न जानामि, यत्पूजितं मया देव परिपूर्णं तदस्तु। यतिचन्द्र यतिचन्द्र शान्तिकर्मं सर्वभूतं चन्द्रब्रह्मणां प्रसादतः अपराधसहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं दासयन्ति मामस्ताक्षं सुपरमेश्वर। ज्ञानतवापि नयनमधिकं पितुं तत्सर्वं शून्यतां देव प्रसीद परमेश्वर। कर्मणां मनसा वाचा च पूजां मया कृता तेन तुष्टिं समासाद्य प्रसीद परमेश्वर। ओम शांति शांति शांति। जय 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 बजरंग बली की जय हो। चारे समस्तस्तु यन्मया पूजनं चिरं तत्सर्वं पूर्णतां यातु हयप्रदां समस्तमे। ओम शांति शांति शांति। जय 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 बजरंग बली की जय।
Sankat Mochan Hanuman Ashtak.
Balasamaira vibhakshaliyodavatina uloka bhayo andiyano tahi sotrasa bhayo jagakoya sankata kahu sojatana taro devana adhikari vinati tab chamrivi oravi kashta nivaro को नहीं जानता है जग में कभी संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो माली की त्रास कभी सब सही जात महाप्रभु पंत निहारो। चौकी महामुनि साप दियो तब चाहिए कौन विचार विचारो द्विजरूपलिवाय महाप्रभु सोतुमदास के शोक निवारो को नहीं जानता है जग में कभी संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो अंगर के संगले न गाये सिर को जग पीसय बैना उचारो जीवत ना बची हम सोजु बिना सुदिलाई हम पगुदारो हेरित के तट सिंधु सब तब लाय सिया सुधि प्राण उबारो को नहीं जानता है जग में कभी संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो रावण त्रास दई सिया को सब राक्षसी सोकहि शोक निवारो ताहि समय हनुमान महाप्रभु जय महारजनी चर मारो चाहत सिया शोक सो आगे सुधे प्रभु मुद्रिक शोक निवारो को नहीं जानता है जग में कभी संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो दान लग्यो लक्ष्मण के तब प्राण तजे सुत रावण मारो लय गृह वैद्य सुषेण समेत सभै गिरि द्रोण सुवीर उपारो आनि संजीवन हाथ दई तब लक्ष्मण के तुम प्राण उबारो को नहीं जानता है जग में कभी संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो रावण द्रुत जानकी हो तब नाग के पास सबै सिर तारो श्री रघुनाथ समेत सबै दल मोह भयो यह संकट पारो हानिक के शत भय हनुमान जो बंधन काटी सुत्रास निवारो को नहीं जानता है जग में कभी संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो बंधु समेत जब आही रावण लय रघुनाथ पताल सितारो देवी पूजी बाली विधि सोमवारी देहु सबै मेरी मंत्र विचारो जय सहाय भयो तब ही आही रावण सैन्य समेत संहारो को नहीं जानता है जग में कभी संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो काज किए वर देवन के तुम वीर महाप्रभु देखी विचारो कौन सो संकट मोर गरीब को जो तुम सो नहीं जाता है तारो तेगी हरो हनुमान महाप्रभु जो कछु संकट होय हमारो को नहीं जानता है जग में कभी संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो लाल देह लाल लील से अरु धरि लाल अंगूर भज देह जय 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 कपीसुरा
जय श्री हनुमान जी की जय। हनुमान चालीसा।
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधार वरनो रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक पल चारे बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीश तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धाम अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नाम महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुवेश कानन कुंडल कुंचित केश हाथ वज्र ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा निकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज संवारे लाय संजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई सहस बदन तुमरो यश गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीषा नारद शारद सहित अहीशा यम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहांते कवि कोविद कहि सकै कहांते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवाहि दीना राम मिलाय राजपद दीना तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना युग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि चल दिलांगी गाये अचरज नाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लाए तुम्हारी शरणा तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज संहारो आपे तीनों लोक हंकते कापे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासै रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ज्ञान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों युग प्रताप तुम्हारा हे प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पास सदा रहो रघुपति के दास तुम्हारे वचन राम को भावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे, अंत काल रघुपति पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई, और देवता चित्त न धरहि, हनुमत से ही सर्व सुख करहि, संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। या शत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पर हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीशा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, कीजय नाथ हृदय मंदेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरण, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहिता, हृदय बसौ सुरभूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय, उमापति रामचंद्र की जय। सब संतों की जय, सब भक्तों की जय, सब गुरुदेवों की जय।
जय जय सीताराम, जय हनुमान। And we'll do Sri Ram Chandrashtakam.
चिताकारो दाता परम सुखदा पावन तनु, मुनीन्द्र योगीन्द्र यतिपति सुरेन्द्र हनुमता। सदा सैर्या पूर्णो जनक तनयंगा सुरगुरु। रमानाथो रामो रमतु मम चित्ते तु सततम्। मुकुंदो गोविंदो जनक तनया लालित पदा। वरं प्राप्ताय स्य रमकुलमवाशाति शबरी। किरातीतो गम्यो विमलविषनिर्वेदवचसा। रमानाथो रामो रमतु मम चित्ते तु सततम्। तराधीशो दिशासुरनरवराणां रघुपति। किरीटी केयूरी कनककपिशा शोभितवपु। समासीना पीते रविशतनिवेशान्तमनसो। रमानाथो रामो रमतु मम चित्ते तु सततम्। हरिण्यशारण्य कपिपति सकश्चान्तविदुरो। ललाटे काश्मीरो रुचिरगतिभङ्गा शशिमुखः। नराकारो रामो यतिपतितनु संस्मृतिहरो। रमानाथो रामो रमतु मम चित्ते तु सततम्। विरूपाक्ष काश्यमुपदिशति यन्नाम शिवदम्। सहस्रं यन्नाम्नां वदति गिरिजाप्रात्युषसि वै। स्वलोके गायन्ति स्वरविधिमुखा यस्य चरितम्। रमानाथो रामो रमतु मम chitte tu satatam. Paro dhiro dhiro surakula bhavascha surahara. Paratma sarvagyo narasura gita suyasha. Ahalya shapagnam sharakararitu kaushika sako. Ramanato ramo ramatu mama chitte tu satatam. Rishikesha shauri dharani darashayi madhuripu. Upendro vaikunto gajariputarashtushta manasa. Balidvamsi viro dasharata suto niti nipuno. Ramanato ramo ramatu mama chitte tu satatam. Kavi saumitridya kapatamigagati vanacharo. Ranashagitanto dharani varaharta suranuta. Amani managyo nikila janapujyo hridishayo. Ramanato ramo ramatu mama chitte tu satatam. Ramanato ramo ramatu mama chitte tu satatam. Ramanato ramo ramatu mama chitte tu satatam.
Jai Shri Ramachandra ki Jai. Jai Shri Hanuman. And we'll do Mahamrityunjaya mantra, 11 repetitions to close the Arati program. We'll do one Om, then 11 times in unison. And we encourage you to keep your awareness in the heart as you chant this mantra for healing and well-being of all. At the end of the mantra, we'll sit in silence for a moment. Then there'll be the Swasti Vachan prayers for blessings at the temple door.
Om Aum Jum Saha. Om Bhurбhuvah Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe. Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam. Urvadukamiva Bandhanan. Mrityormukshiyamamritat. Swaha Bhuva Bhu. Om Saha Jum Haum Om. Om Haum Jum Saha. Om Bhurбhuvah Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe. Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam. Urvadukamiva Bandhanan. Mrityormukshiyamamritat. Swaha Bhuva Bhu. Om Saha Jum Haum Om. Om Haum Jum Saha. Om Bhurбhuvah Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe. Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam. Urvadukamiva Bandhanan. Mrityormukshiyamamritat. Swaha Bhuva Bhu. Om Saha Jum Haum Om. Om Haum Jum Saha. Om Bhurбhuvah Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe. Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam. Urvadukamiva Bandhanan. Mrityormukshiyamamritat. Swaha Bhuva Bhu. Om Saha Jum Haum Om. Om Haum Jum Saha. Om Bhurrbhuvah Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityormukshiyamamritat Swaha Bhuva Bhuः Om Saha Jung Haum Om Om Haum Jung Saha Om Bhurrbhuvah Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityormukshiyamamritat Swaha Bhuva Bhuः Om Saha Jung Haum Om Om Haum Jung Saha Om Bhurrbhuvah Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityormukshiyamamritat Swaha Bhuva Bhuः Om Saha Jung Haum Om Om Haum Jung Saha Om Bhurrbhuvah Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityormukshiyamamritat Swaha Bhuva Bhuः Om Saha Jung Haum Om Om Haum Jung Saha Om Bhurrbhuvah Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityormukshiyamamritat Swaha Bhuva Bhuः Om Saha Jung Haum Om Om Haum Jung Saha Om Bhurrbhuvah Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityormukshiyamamritat Swaha Bhuva Bhuः Om Saha Jung Haum Om. The Swasti Vachan mantra for blessings. Darshan with Hanumanji. Om Gananantva Ganapati Gung Havamahe Priyanantva Priyapati Gung Havamahe Nidhinantva Nidhipati Gung Havamahe Vaso Mamma Aham Jani Garbadham Atmamajasi Garbadham. Om Swastina Indro Bridhashravaha Swastina Pusha Vishwavedaha Swastina Staraksho Arishtanemihi Swastino Brihaspati Dadatu. Om Payah Pratibhyam Paya Oshadishu Payo Devyanta Rikshan Payodaha Payasvatihi Pradisha Santumayam. Om Vishnu Raratramassi Vishnu Shnaptresto Vishnosyursi Vishnodravosi Vaishnavamasi Vishnave Tva Om Agnir Devata Vato Devata Suryo Devata Chandrama Devata Vasavo Devata Rudro Devata Aditya Devata Maruto Devata Om Vishwani Deva Savitarturitani Parasuva Yadbadram Tanna Asuva Om Tat Sat Gurave Swaha. Jai Hanuman, Jai Shri Gurudev, Jai Shri Sitaram.
Banduri te kolu vaya Rama, 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 Banduri te kolu vaya Rama. Tunta vindivani, tunta vindivani, tunta vindivani modalena, tunta vindivani modalena, tunta vindivani modalena, madadula godinela gul jejuni jabanduri te kolu via vaya Rama, banduri te kolu via vaya Rama. Romanjamane ganakanchu kamu Rama bhaktudane mudra billayu. Romanjamane ganakanchu kamu Rama bhaktudane mudra billayu. Rama nama mane, Rama nama mane, Rama nama mane, Varakadgami Rama nama mane, Varakadgami Rama nama mane, Varakadgami Rama nama mane, Varakadgami virajillunaya Tyagarajuni ke banduri te konu via vaya Rama, banduri te kolu via vaya Rama.